If Joe Biden had to live by the same rules, and just right there, you know, it's hypothetical because they never live by their own rules. But let's say he did by the rules he imposed on male American college students. The allegations from his former staffer, Tara Reade, would have already ended his presidential campaign and his political career. But fortunately for Joe Biden, he does not need to live by those rules. He's exempted himself, so evidence will be needed to bring him from his perch. And by the way, that's fair. We're all for evidence. We're not Joe Biden. So far, though, nobody has even been allowed to look for the evidence. The Secretary of the Senate says she lacks legal authority to search through Senate records for mentions of Tara Reade. Meanwhile, the University of Delaware, whose board, at least 8 of them are Joe Biden donors, refuses to release any of the Joe Biden documents in its possession, even though it is a public school taking tax dollars, housing public documents, presumably for the public's good. But no, they're not showing them to you because they're on Team Biden and they don't have to. Paul Kamenar is counsel to the National Law and Policy Center. He drafted and filed a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request, for Biden's donation agreement with the University of Delaware. He joins us tonight. Paul, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Tucker. Good to be here.
Why this donation agreement? Tell us why that's a significant thing, why we should see that.
Well, we want to see everything regarding the transfer of 1,800 boxes of documents and a couple hundred gigabytes, or shall I say terabytes, of records from him, because the original agreement was that these should have been released on January 21st, 2019. Well, that came and gone. And what they did was amend that agreement and made it so that Biden would not be able to release these, or the university, until 2 years after public life, not public office. So they're actually doing this to give him time to run for the presidency without having to have these documents released. So the National Legal and Policy Center has filed an 8-page Freedom of Information request to not only get these documents, but to see who had access to it. Because we have information that Biden operatives actually went in the last several months and looked at these documents, and we don't know whether they pulled a Sandy Berger and absconded with some of the damaging documents or not. So we're asking for all records relating to the handling, curating, and disposition of these documents.
On what grounds could a public school handling public documents possibly turn you down in your Freedom of Information request?
Well, we hope they don't, but actually Delaware is one of 2 states in the country that give and carve out certain exemptions for their public universities, believe it or not. But we still can get documents related to the handling of it. Plus, we are also requesting that the Board of Trustees call a special meeting, which they are allowed to do under their bylaws, and override any exemptions that are found in this law. Now, but keep in mind that the university has the discretion to release these. They don't have to keep them withheld. But more importantly, Joe Biden has already asked, hey, I'm asking the National Archives to release it. I'm asking the Senate. And Mika Brzezinski asked him, Morning Joe, well, then why not ask the University of Delaware Library to release them? And you know what his answer was? Well, there's nothing there. Well, how does he know there's nothing there? Then he said, well...
We should be able to see that. No, I totally agree. Paul, thank you. Yeah. Good luck on this.
Thank you.
The public has a right to know. Fortunately, higher education is a dangerous, power-drunk cartel. There's no transparency. There's no accountability. There's a reason Jeffrey Epstein found refuge at Harvard, as we learned today he did.